Well, hello and good evening, and welcome to Positively Positive. I'm just all up for the fall. Positively Positive, and I am your hostess, Susan Mintz, or Susan Mintz, whatever makes you happy. And this show is exactly what it says, positively positive. Everything, all things, everybody, anybody, whatever we've done over the past weeks and weeks and weeks has a component in it, and that's called HIV/AIDS. And we've gone from long-term to new diagnosed to caregivers to people in organizations to people who just want to be involved. It's been amazing, and our interviews have been just incredible. And what you will learn is that you do have a story. And if you have a story, you call the number on the screen and get that link and schedule an appointment, schedule a time when we can tape you, and you will be so blessed by getting your story to other people, because these stories are going everywhere. My guest today is from New York, another one was from Washington, another was from Arizona, Bradenton. Storytelling is what this show is about. We tell stories regarding HIV and AIDS. So that's all you need to know. You can also go to SusanMintz.com or Campbell Health Solutions. But this show is groundbreaking. That's the difference. We are a groundbreaking storytelling show. And there are millions of you out there who want to tell your story. So that's what it's about, the show. And yes, the look is absolutely what it's supposed to be. I'm not changing anything. It took me a while to get this character ready for showtime, but it works. The other reason I'm so committed to love and committed to this mission and committed that God gave me this mission was I was married and loved a bisexual man for 25 years. But in 1992, due to his promiscuous behavior that I knew about for a very long time, but I loved him. I loved him dearly, and I couldn't explain that in just 2 minutes. But when he was taken gravely ill in Boca Hospital, Boca put him in the hospital, and I documented his illness from 1992, June 20th, to August 17th, 1994. I will tell you that writing is the best therapy you can do. Not only do I speak about HIV/AIDS, but I definitely want you to write, because if I didn't document everything, you would not be able to see this book, Committed to Love. This is my life of 25 years and my friendship in 24 chapters of love, a widow's journey through love and loss. Amazon and Barnes & Noble, they're $22.95, which is even cheaper than a great meal out that is not going to look that way the next day. I always stress that. When I got involved with hospice right after, they're a wonderful organization. Again, I met great people in the care center here in Boca. Some were patients, some were caregivers, some were nurses, some were people I met in an airport. 24 chapters again of 24 stories. I am a storyteller, and I held their hand with a hospice heart. Again, SusanMintz.com, Positively Positive page to see the other shows, and my books are on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and I would suggest Amazon. Both are $22.95, and they're 24 chapters each, and they're issues that you one day might need to know about, because anybody with a long-term illness or a diagnosis of something that could be fatal or long-term needs to have faith and hope and compassion and support. I had it all, the time and the money, but I still lost. But it gave me a purpose. And as long as I can speak, and as long as I can tell people, tell their stories, I'm good. God bless you all. Now, an incredible man from New York, MiZeal Ramos. And I'm going to say, MiZeal, come on in to the studio.
you. Thank you for
Wow.
sharing your experience, your strength, and your hope. That was so fascinating. Such an opening. Wow, Susan. All right. And you look
I was
fabulous.
born I was born to write and to speak and to love and to respect people. But through Jeffrey's death and illness, the strength of writing and the strength that I knew I wasn't doing this for me. I'm doing this for everybody out there that needs a good B12 shot of faith, hope, compassion. Boy, could we use a love story right now, right? So I hope you'll
Absolutely.
get my books. I don't do this to sell my book, but I hope you go to my website and check them out because they're
Absolutely.
very valuable. So what I want to ask you is, I'm fascinated by your name, Mizael.
MiZeal.
Mizael. That is wonderful. Where were you born?
I was born in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, New York City.
Oh,
Yeah. In the projects.
good for you. You made it. Listen, and so where's your ancestry with the name and your look?
I'm Puerto Rican Dominican, and there's a piece of German and black in me, and Indian.
Well, you have
Misael
a
is from a biblical name from the Bible. It's a Catholic name. It's a saint,
well,
like Saint Michael.
you have a oh really? Yeah.
Like so, I'm like you were talking about like why we do this work, why you write, why you we need more love out there. And my passion is to help those that are battling, depression, mental health, substance misuse. Yeah.
Isn't that what's going on in this country, which is so divided? I believe that HIV, if we had that platform, which we're going to have one day again, like we did in the 80s and 90s, I know that people want to hear about HIV and AIDS, and they don't just want to hear it from a drug company. So I firmly believe that a show like this, you keep telling your friends, we keep telling stories that we are going to help mental health on top of it, and depression and substance abuse, because hope is what's going to come through. So you tell your friends, you get your friends, and you just do what you got to do to keep the stories coming. And now, one other thing, then, so you got a mixed background, but how old are you?
I'm 44 years old. I just turned 44 October. My birthday passed. I'm so grateful to be 44. When I was in my teenage years, if you would have asked me about 30 and 40, I was like, ew, those are old people. Those are, I can never see myself hanging out with them. And I'm just grateful that I made it to 44. A lot of people did not make it.
You want to hear my thing? I'm 77 and I'm never stopping.
What?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
77. Jeff died 30 years ago. So I was a widow at 48. I never wanted to date, get involved. My commission from the Lord is this. And it just happened that this platform also opened up. And it was perfect because I talk to people and want people to talk to me. So this is another extension, but we got to get the stories out. We got to do all we can do to help people because we are helping. Now, how did you get involved though with HIV as you're so young?
So how do I get involved in HIV? So, I've been in the field working in social services for over 25 years. I started at 16, 17 years old, and I've been in the field since. And what really got me involved in HIV was when I had left a nonprofit organization in 2013. I've been working like 15 years into nonprofit, and I thought I needed a break because I was doing youth empowerment work. I was working in social services. I was running groups. I was running special event groups. I was running gay groups. But this opportunity came where I had taken a moment to say, what do I want to do in my life? Do I want to continue doing this work? Because it's heavy work, working in social services. And I took a year break just to get myself mentally together, just to take a break of not working, doing a lot of healing. And this great opportunity came. Somebody has sent me a job description for a nonprofit organization called Heat. It's out in Brooklyn and Downstate Health for an HIV tester to work in collaboration with an all-gay high school called the Hedrick Martin Institute, right? So I was the first ever to be placed in a school to do HIV testing during their hours and after school hours. And wow, let me tell you something. That was such an awakening moment for me because um because of my personality and my love and my passion for hope and trust and connection. A lot of young people gravitated to me just to connect with me, right? And
Your
in that
spirit,
process, oh,
your, your spirit drew them in because of, we are spirits, and your spirit gave, just went out, and people were they gravitated towards you automatically because they knew by you who you were. And where are you living now, though, specifically?
so I am living in New York City, still Manhattan. I just moved to Harlem. I was in the Bronx for years, and I decided that I no longer wanted to be in a borough that's not about community, not about
Yeah.
empowerment. And I just found what I was looking for in Harlem, where there is a lot of collective different backgrounds culturally, and people that walk out their homes and say good morning to you and not rob you, pretty much. So,
So the
yeah.
organization, the opportunity that you went to, you chose to get involved with this opportunity that came along. Tell me about that.
So I was an HIV test counselor. So I would test the young people, and I would have to give them the results. Some young people were negative. Some young people were positive, and I had to escort them because on site it was just literally a high school program. So the next 72 hours, I had to escort them to a clinic, which was why the Heat was the collaboration, because they had the services to provide medication and blood work and everything. So that was in 2013. We're in 2023. So through all of those years, I've been in the field. I sit on the board for a nonprofit organization called Ballroom We Care. They work with people that are dealing with substance misuse and HIV prevention. I work at a nonprofit organization remotely as a youth coach for young people that are in foster care and their parents. So from there, that moment was the moment when I was testing, those young people were teenagers. Now they're adults. So they're
Mhm.
navigating their adult life and they're still having a hard time. So I still have connections with these young people.
Just
They're all doing well.
one other thing is, are you HIV positive, or you have not? You're not.
I'm also HIV positive. Yes.
All right. So you also have a personal interest because you know the way you want to be treated. You want to remove the stigma. You want to make people comfortable. You gravitated also. When did you find out you were HIV positive?
In 2013.
Oh, okay. Do you know how you contracted it?
I did. I was under the influence. I got on the apps and I brought someone over and we had unprotected sex. And immediately after that, I got really sick. And I knew who it was. I don't put blame on the person. I took it in stride because that was the year that I was working in as an HIV test counselor. Also, I was being trained on PrEP and was one of those naive people that were like, I don't want to put that in my system. I think that's gonna break down my system. Just was naive. And that was a really, really rough year for me because
Sure.
I would have never thought that a person like me in the field educating would get that. And I got it. And I turned my story around. I just this is actually the first time publicly I'm sharing that. I've never shared that before on publicly. So
Well,
like I was hoping that you wouldn't ask, but I was like,
no.
you
Now it's
can't lie. You gotta you said something that was really important. It was like living in your truth and really, really trying to help people that are battling right now. So if I was to sit here and do that, it will go against,
what you
everything.
That's right. You can't be a hypocrite. You have thrown yourself into the water and you are swimming. And it's marvelous because your story, just the way you just said, the couple of little things that you said were so empowering. You were HIV positive. You started this organization with these people. You're into mental health, substance abuse, all of that, and you're in Harlem, which is probably as overwhelmed with this as any place in the country. I mean, I loved it when I was there. That was the one place I felt at home. I loved Harlem. If I were living in New York, I'd be living in Harlem. My husband was a white, Jewish, handsome doctor. There's no way, we kept saying, he could get this. There's no way we were in such denial, but yet couldn't. He was promiscuous with so many men. And as they started dying, we lived in Houston, they started dying. And all of a sudden, I realized, Susan, that in 1981, when I said, I'll never leave you, but we're not going to have any sex that way, just sex, intimacy, love, travel, everything was the same. We just removed the sexual component, and I loved him just the way he was, as hard as this was. But here we were always saying, no, we can't get it. He's white, he's a doctor, he's handsome, he's Jewish, we have money. So stupid, because this disease, this virus, why I want you to go public is because this virus has no look. It's a bringing together of political people, religious groups, colored group, everybody can be affected. And it's wonderful through these stories like yours.
That one of the things for me was really one of the things that helped me break stigma and really step into my truth one-on-one, but now even more publicly. Because I think that what happened was when I contracted HIV was because the person wasn't taking care of himself. Let's put that out there. Okay. I wasn't upset. It was nowhere in his fault, because it was also my fault, because I let him in through my doors. I got on the apps. I wanted sex. But let me tell you something real quickly, is that what changed my whole trajectory of stigma and HIV is immediately I went to the doctor. Immediately I was put on medication. Immediately I was undetectable, meaning I could have sex and not pass it along to anybody because I am undetectable. You know?
That's wonderful.
So like, if there was unprotected sex happening, I know for a fact that I'm taking care of my well-being, my mental health, my blood. I go to the doctor and make sure that I continue to be undetectable. A lot of people are not undetectable. And I think that's where I need to fall in and say, we need to work a little bit harder, because a lot of people are not taking the medication.
And people don't get tested. They just take it for granted, especially younger people at 17, 16. Don't tell me that they're having protected sex when you're high and you're stoned or you're on drugs. Yeah. The last thing you're thinking about, and I know for a fact, because I was always drinking Manhattans or martinis and high as a kite with marijuana. The last thing you think about is putting a condom on. Half the time you couldn't even feel yourself putting it on. And so today's drugs and today's kids, they are really in a bad place because they don't know about even getting tested. They're so careless. But you do testing regularly on people. Is it hard to get them? What happens when they find out they're positive? You take them somewhere else, you said, to someone else?
Yeah, we take them to wherever they need to be treated. The great thing about me and a lot of people in New York City, there's a lot of resources here.
Yes.
So the thing is, we do a lot of events. We do a lot of testing. We do a lot of connection to care. Some young people, they can't travel to Brooklyn because they live in Harlem. So we look for locations in Harlem. I'm going to read this real quick. It says, bottom on here, it says, take the test. It's better to know your status. So if you ever need some information on taking a test, it's 561-208-6595. We continue to escort them. We continue to connect them, because you're right, Susan. One of the things that you just said was there was important, and it was a lot of young people are not getting tested. A lot of young people are having a lot of sex. And I want to mention this platform. Twitter. It's called now X. Twitter has been a sex platform so people could sell their work, and sell and make content and make money. Fabulous, right? The new era of porn. But one of the things I started to notice is that these young people are having a lot of sex to make content, but they're not getting tested. They're not getting treated, you know,
Mm-mm.
and it's like, wow, we have a lot of work to do. A lot of young people are not getting their test. Even adults are not getting their regular
That,
routine test.
that was
So
my next thing. Are you working with adults also? Because the seniors, women like myself, I mean, I'm older than some, but divorced or widowed, and they're in their 50s or 60s, and they need a man, and all of a sudden they're still able to get this Viagra, and she lubricates herself, and next thing you know, seniors are in denial because they can't have kids. They're all postmenopausal. Stupid. My group is probably more stupid than the young kids.
you know, the thing is that it's 2023. It's about to be 2024, and you said something really important. Like, we need to continue to carry the message of the experience, strength, and hope. The message needs to continue. We need more funding. Yes, I work with adults. Adults are having a really hard time because life
Hmm.
is lifing. You know, a lot of people are battling substance misuse. A
Hmm.
lot of them are dealing with shame. A lot of people in our community are dealing with ageism. So they're isolating. So there's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of levels that we're not really, and let me not say not really, because we are talking about it. We need to continue to talk about it. We need to continue to normalize it. We need to continue
Hmm.
to build down these platforms that
Hmm.
what we're talking about will probably sometimes get 2 likes, 5 hearts, you know, on different social platforms, right?
Yeah.
You know, this platform might rise in other, and another platforms, it might just not go anywhere. That's
Yeah.
where the problem is that people don't want to talk about it. It just shows it's still people don't want to talk about it. People don't
Well,
want to talk about it on social media. People don't want to put their business out there because they're always thinking about what the next person is going to think about them.
well,
Baby, the next person that's thinking about you ain't really thinking about you. Go get tested, save a life, you know, because the next person don't care. You might just die in front of them and they'll walk over your body and close that door. So,
the, the other thing is that you'll see for Campbell Health Solutions, they are testing. There's resources. We live in Palm Beach County. I live in South County. He's up in West Palm. But the resources here are amazing. But the flip side is the money. I think the money and the cutting down back of this and that. The resources, people, a lot of the organizations I find are trying to fight for what they have and what they need, and they're not always communicating with each other to have this really big, powerful impact. And
yeah.
I think that's what organizations need to come together. Someone like you in New York, you could send me a couple people who want to tell their story, younger people. You could send me a lot of people for stories like this. And we can go national because this needs to be a show that's national because it involves every walk of life, every person. And someone like you with the connections you have, you're a gold mine for someone like me and someone like Richardo Jackson who had the initiative and saw the passion I had for this. But this is exciting. So you deal with every age group. What would you say though that see, I think a lot of it is self-respect, self-esteem. You get knocked down over the years, maybe not with the kids, but as you get older, you start having all these negative things happen to you. So
Yeah.
then if you have this happen on top of it, you're just like wiped out because you've had so many disappointments and rejections and no's and thumbs down instead of thumbs up. I mean, I don't do the social stuff that much. I'm very low key on that. But in general, you must get reactions where they almost want to kill themselves.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that that's why it's a system that's meant to break you down. You know, it's the system that that's meant to break you down. Like, you know, when we were dealing with AIDS crisis, and Sylvia that was advocating for us, you know, those systems that they were going through are the same systems that they're putting us through now, where it's hard to even like walk out of your home and feel like you are important and that you matter and that you are
Well,
worthy of getting health services and not being judged and not being, you know, this is larger than us. And yes, this should be definitely national, you know,
mhm.
because it's showing that we exist, we still live.
Mhm.
We are experienced, especially myself. I'm experienced. I have done so much work. I
Mhm.
continue to fight, and I continue to not give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, because the generation of tomorrow is the kittens. It's the youth, and we need to lead them. And in this field, working in social services, they don't pay nothing. Living in
No,
New York City is like, oh my God. Like, so I really don't do it for the pay. I just do it for
your
really
heart.
saving a life,
Your,
and at least having a roof over my head so I can like focus on my serenity and my experience and my hope to go back out there and help that person that's in need.
the thing I always say is that people have value, though they may not think they are. You have value. You don't know where your life's going to take you. You don't have a clue where tomorrow's going to be. But I know that this show is groundbreaking. And with the right connection, we could take this show on a national platform, streaming, of course. But Richardo, and I'm good at this. I mean, I'm good at talking to people, and I love doing this. I mean, I've been doing this type of things for 40, 50 years. I was born to do this. So just
Yeah.
this opportunity alone to meet you, to meet people like you who are committed. That's the other thing, besides the HIV positive connection with everybody, even though they're not, it's HIV or AIDS. They don't have to be. Some of our guests are just involved, is the fact that there's community activism. And if you had the same passion in the community and in this country that people have when I watch a football game, the energy that 60, 70, 80,000 people put out, if you put as much energy into getting HIV and AIDS out to people through a platform that's like this on a regular basis, you would have passion, all right. You wouldn't have to worry about 200 likes. You'd get 2 million likes
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
this
You
is
know, it's
this this is needed.
this is needed and it's
Misael.
growing. This is my second time on the show. Um, I woke up this morning and I, wanted to go in to listen to some house music in the shower, and my shower ran extra. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta get on this show. Oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, but this is a show that is very authentic, organic. Ricardo, whenever he needs me, I would definitely be there to support. Also, you mentioning funding. I also think that doing events in person, like I would love to fly out or get flown out to do public speaking or motivational speaking in person. Like
Yeah.
branding it and marketing it and getting it in all platforms is very, very needed in this time, because it's just not about HIV. It's about your mental health, the
Very much.
love that one another gives to each other, to lift one another, to love themselves, to get resources to eat healthy, to
Mm-hmm.
exercise, to get medication and be stabilized from depression, to sexual encounters, and talking about emotional intelligence, and talking about affection to one another without having sex, intimacy, into
Mm-hmm.
you see me, like all of this great stuff that is lacking with people. But with this platform, we can get there. Someone's gonna see this show and say, wow, those two, this was amazing. Like, you know what? I need to fund them. Here's a grant for this. Like, so I
Yeah,
see it.
absolutely. And the other thing is, I do think though a big thing with mental health today in general, even if it doesn't have to do with HIV, it is very personal what's going on. People are really following the likes, they're following the hearts, they're following all of that. And who are these people that you're going to worry about? They don't like you. I
Yeah.
don't care if you don't like me. Sometimes I don't like me either. But it's so important to build people up and not tear them down, because most people already have something. Everybody's got something going on. It's how you handle it. So, what medication are you on?
Try your mech.
What is it?
It's called Try Your Mech.
Is it new?
No, it's not new. But I would describe the medication a little bit as my provider described it to me. When I first got on the medication, we discussed multiple medications, right? Because there's a lot, and that's a great thing. Um, I, at the moment in 2013, was a little all over the place, and I had shared this with my doctor that I was a little all over the place with like taking medication. Sometimes I will take medication, sometimes I won't. And I was just being honest with her, right?
Yeah.
So she had mentioned to me that Triamec was one of the best medications that were for someone that took medication certain days and didn't take medication certain days, because the medication will still work even if you took it a few times during the week. It will still work to help you with your HIV. But that wasn't the case for me, because I took medication and my health very seriously, and I take my medication every day since 2013.
Yeah, you're very proactive with your health. I can tell that from the way
Absolutely.
you speak. And
Absolutely.
people have to be, because it's not going to be kind out there. It's not
No,
Dr. Welby that I grew up with who's going to make house calls, or the doctor who said,
no.
"Oh, come over to the house and give you a shot of penicillin in your butt and you'll be back in school the next day." The only people I see I'm really making a lot of money are the drug companies. And what I'd like to see is more talk about HIV itself, STDs, sex itself. I call it outer course. You can have so much pleasure outer course and
Yeah.
not go intercourse.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think that's what there's a reason why I'm having this live in my bedroom, because I'm creating a platform um on intimate moments in the bedroom, So it's really like um saying, come into my bedroom so we can have an intimate conversation. So conversations like health never come up. Conversations about when was the last time you got an STD? When was the last time you got an STI? What is your blood like? Like I started to have conversations with people that I would date, and nothing, crickets. And then I was like, people that I was dating, I felt like you needed to see my blood work. You needed to see what was going on with me here. I'm gonna send you my information. I never got information back. So I started to realize that a lot of people are not proactive about their health.
No,
And a lot of people don't care, because if they don't feel nothing, they don't see nothing.
no, it's
So
fear. It's fear. Fear.
yeah, and it's
It's like even when COVID hit, the same reactions were when HIV started in the 80s. The same, we don't know about it, where did it come from, how do we catch it? 40 years later, it's incredible the progress we've made with the medications. Do you think it's important also to have a good doctor you can talk to?
it's really, really important for people that are in the field to know the information. Like, if I need to refer somebody, I know how to refer somebody that's going to work with this child, work with this adult, work with this young teenager. It's really important for them to be bridged and connected and walked through what that is for a doctor, because a lot of people do not know how to ask questions. What is the blood work? What does that mean? I have high
Mm.
cholesterol. I have my liver enzymes are on off, like these things that I have learned.
Right.
Um it's just something, I'm an old soul, so I like have tendencies that like a lot of people do not have, and that's the information that I have to pass along people. I'm chosen, so I have to
Mm.
continue to work with people, and they gravitate to me continuously, these everyone, so it's a gift to connect people to wellness, and that's my biggest passion, is connecting
Wellness.
people to wellness, and wellness comes under the umbrella of so much. I can go on
Yes.
and on and on and on and on.
Thank you. It makes it easy for me to talk to you. But in general, there's all this mental illness, social. I mean, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's mental health encompasses everything. And if you don't, that's why writing. Are you do write it all?
Oh my God, Susan, hold on one second. Look, so
I
I I love Susan. She's perfect for this show.
am.
Susan,
Get
I am.
now. Get me to New York. Somebody on the ABC network or somebody in New York. You tell them what we're doing, because if I
Honey, you
have
don't
one
even have
hand,
to go anywhere. You just have to just be you, and then they'll hire you just to do like, it's amazing.
And that's what I'm saying. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, and this show could go national because we are doing groundbreaking work with people like you and my other guests who care and who want to be open, and we want to tell stories. What about your writing?
I write.
Tell.
I write. So I will say this. I hate writing because of trauma that I've had as a child in school, but I did the work because you said something. Mental health is really, really, really important. So what I've been doing lately is meditating and journaling.
Yeah, journaling. That's the
So
whole.
like I started to journal and I started to like bring life to what I'm writing. It's a process for me. It's easy for some and harder for others. And I want to be one of those people that want to continue to write to get to a place of working with individuals that have a fear of writing because of their handwriting, because of their spelling, because of their grammar. Those are things that I face, but
it's so rewarding.
It's as long as I get to share my experience. There's a lot of people that are going through the same thing, and that's just breaking down those barriers and those walls and saying there is a place for you. You are worthy. You don't have to like let this. You are worthy. This doesn't have to stop you. So I love that you share writing, and I love that you share your book. I'm gonna buy your book.
Oh, they're wonderful. Both books on their stories, their issues. It's like the book of Psalms and Proverbs together. I don't write science fiction. I don't write about other people other than tell me your life. Tell me who you are. Tell me why you are. Tell me where you are. I want to know the nuts and bolts. No matter what you tell me, I can promise you it's probably in my 2 books, 24 chapters each, because I write about reality. That's why I'm looking forward to you. You have connections. You have availability in New York City to get this out on a platform national and interview nationally. And Campbell Health Solutions, Richardo, and you and myself, other people who've been on, we have the ability to get this information out. We just need someone who has that enthusiasm to say, we need this.
Yeah.
And you write. It's so important. Writing clears out your head. You'll write today because you're enthused and motivated.
Absolutely. You bet your gloves on.
Yeah, this is kind of the shtick in Yiddish. In Hebrew, we say that person has a shtick. Like there was Sally Jesse Raphael with the glasses. This is the character. This is the character I had to become to feel like, oh yeah, you can make as much fun out of me as you want. I make fun of myself, but at my age,
I love it. I love it. It's definitely the host. It's definitely giving character. It's giving conversation. It's giving Sylvia. It's giving activism. It's giving, so yeah, it's giving.
How can people get in touch? Well, we will also be posting everything on the screen, but how can people get in touch with you?
So people can get in touch with me by my social platforms. I'm still building my social platforms. I have to take time to kind of like navigate each one and connect them because they all need to be connected. So you can find me on social media through Facebook, MiZeal Mickey Ramos, my first, middle, last name. And then you can also find me on Instagram with Mickey Ultra. Those are some platforms there. You can also look at some information on the organization that I am sitting on the board with. It's called Ballroom We Care. I can send that information and link to Ricardo. I do board work with them. Yeah.
When the show is over at some point, though, in general, he posts people's information. He'll post how to get in touch with you. But what was the website?
Ballroomwecare.org.
Ballroom?
Ballroomwecare.org.
No, spell it for me.
BALLROOM WECARE.org. Ballroom We Care.
That's ballroomwecare.org. That's interesting. How did they come up with the ballroom thing?
So what happened was that in ballroom, like Paris is Burning, like polls. There's a huge network of ballroom that happens around the world and in New York City, you know, a lot in New York City. And what we started to notice in New York City was that there were young people that were dealing and battling with crystal meth usage in the ballroom.
Yeah.
And we wanted to provide space, make space for these young adults to be able to share their experience of what's going on in their lives without being judged, saving their life and connecting them to services. We do so much more. We do mental health services. We work with the larger community of LGBTQ. And it's a nonprofit organization that's, you know, sharing information about, you know, wellness and HIV prevention and substance misuse prevention and harm reduction and connection to care and special events and things that are fun and sex and, you know, education and taking them on field trips, taking them on retreats, taking them to the movies, taking them to eat, treating them like they're normal, you know. So
Big
it's
brother.
recreational
Yeah.
activities, you know. We're building it, and it needs. It's one of the organizations that I sit on amongst a few other that need support. There's support out there. There's so much money that's out there, you know, like there's billions of dollars that people have in their account. Let it go. Send it to us. So
There's
that's
money.
the point, is that
It's
we
all
need to get to
over.
that point. Give
Yeah.
the money to places that are in need. If you're writing a tax write-off, come on.
And
like these are people are in need.
that's exactly what the problem is. The money, I believe, is not going to our country with the infrastructure. To me, that's people. To me, our infrastructure, bridges are nice, roads are nice, all these things are lovely. Your infrastructure is your people. And if your people are not well, your country's not well. And that's, I think, where we are right now. I don't think we're a well country because most of the people I deal with, I see, whether it's political, whether it's social, doesn't matter. I think we're an unwell, unhealthy country.
Yes, I
And I
agree.
don't like it. And I don't like it because I think priorities have changed since I grew up. And I don't like what I'm seeing or hearing on TV or even on computers because we need help in the communities where they're doing the work.
I agree with you. It's
And that's
43. It's
what
43 minutes. Is it going to get cut off?
what did you say?
Nothing. Don't worry.
Oh no, when you hear some music, when the music starts, then that's the time to wrap up. And if there's no
Gotcha.
music, if there's no
Oh,
music,
gotcha. Oh,
well, like right now, there's all this stuff in the background. I don't know who that is, but yep, there you are. But if we do get cut off, the main thing I want to say is
yes.
spread the word about what Positively Positive is doing. Spread the word that you are involved in a way that can help so many younger people, older people. Talk about it. Get us some visibility through your voice. But thank you, MiZeal Ramos from
Thank you.
Harlem. And his organization is ballroomwecare.org or his social media. Just Google him, he'll pop up somewhere. But I
Yeah,
thank you. And together we can fight this thing, but we have to come together. The HIV/AIDS community, LGBTQ, heterosexual, we have to start working together in this fight
absolutely.
because it is a fight. And I think this show is absolutely something that can change lives, especially with the bigger the audience and the more I get to do what I know I'm good at, helping people. That's a
Absolutely.
gift from God. You're helping people. You don't have to, you couldn't even walk away from it right now.
No.
No. When you get so
Okay.
involved to a point, it becomes your life and you
Yep.
don't walk away. You just take the opportunities as they come and you do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we cannot do.
Richardo might pop back on, but there's
Okay.
noise in his background because they're working on his building.